Hello again, buenos dias, and welcome to my YouTube channel here at Benidorm and beyond. I produce entertaining, fun and informative vlogs about the fantastic resort of Benidorm where I have lived for well over 20 years now, so please come along and join me on my regular Spanglish adventures. And don't forget to leave me a comment, like or emoji, or to just simply share this vlog or subscribe to the channel to help spread the word about Benidorm and beyond and get more positive vlogs about this beautiful tourist city out there in the world. Today's vlog comes in the form of a latest news update, and this bulletin brings you a trio of news items about all things Benidorm that have happened here in the past week or so. My first story brings the amazing news that an off-duty police officer has saved a child in Benidorm from potentially choking to death whilst watching the fabulous King's Day parade, which took place on the evening of Friday the 5th of January. Luisma Rosello, who is a Benidorm local police officer, was watching the noisy and colourful parade of the Three Wise Men herself in the Old Town, which many of you may have seen photos and videos of on social media, when suddenly she heard screams and noticed a crowd surrounding a man trying to take something out of the mouth of a 2-year-old child who was choking right in front of everyone on a piece of candy. The child's suffocation was reaching critical levels when cool-headed Luisma walked towards the child decisively and without thinking and immediately performed the Heimlich manoeuvre. She said, "I grabbed the child, squeezed him 3 times under the pit of his stomach, pulled up his clothes, laid him down forward and hit him on the back. He vomited the candy and drooled all over me, but it was a blessing that he did that." The frightening event happened around 7:30 p.m. on Avenida de Razafa, one of the main busy thoroughfares in the Old Town where the parade passes through, with livestock, costume characters and the Three Wise Men themselves processing, throwing out free sweeties for all the children and adults, as is the yearly tradition, which the kiddies then scrabble up to save for later, or, as in this case, stuff into their mouths as soon as possible. The quick-thinking actions of the policewoman undoubtedly saved this fortunate child's life, and since the incident, the female officer has not stopped receiving congratulations from both colleagues and acquaintances. She said, "At that moment, I didn't realise what I had done, only that it had turned out well. I assumed a big responsibility, and for that I feel proud. That's what we've trained and prepared for. You think you're never going to use it, but these things work." The little boy and his parents were foreign tourists, but the officer does not know their specific nationality. She added proudly, "When this family hears the name Benidorm, they will remember this moment and that we helped them." After the heroic action of the off-duty agent, the parade continued without further mishap to great success, with Los Reyes Magos, or the Majesties of the East, distributing their guests to the houses of Benidorm without any further setback, ending another festive season for the resort in good cheer. My second story is also one of triumph, eventually, although it does involve a persistent criminal who's been operating in the Costa Blanca for quite some time now. Reports just last week state that a 50-year-old Lithuanian man, dressed with the appearance of a wealthy tourist, has now moved over to Benidorm to practice his shoplifting and purse thefts after a long history of enjoying extravagant meals in restaurants before faking a heart attack to avoid paying in the Alicante area. Nicknamed the Gastrojeta by the National Police, sources from the force made a statement just last Tuesday, January the 2nd, that he's been arrested yet again for an incredible 23rd time in the last year in the Alicante region, but this time in Benidorm at 3:25 in the afternoon, when he was seen fleeing from a store selling Chinese items, closely pursued by the seller. A police patrol intercepted the pair and established that the man had supposedly stolen a vest and a vape pen worth just over €30, although in the ensuing search of his belongings, other allegedly stolen belongings were also discovered. Among them, a credit card was found that had been recorded as stolen on December the 29th at 9 p.m. in a bowling alley in Benidorm, where the victim had reported that she had left her belongings whilst playing, only to find that they had disappeared when she returned. Once transferred to the cells of the Benidorm National Police Station, the Gastrojeta took full advantage of his right not to testify, as is his usual way of operating, as the police are fully aware after him having been arrested for so many crimes in the past, which as such have always been considered minor. The Lithuanian citizen, Adis J, is known for leaving restaurants without paying after slap-up meals, usually faking a heart attack to get out of paying the bill, putting me rather in mind of an Only Fools and Horses episode called Chain Gang, where a dodgy jewellery seller does a deal in an Italian restaurant and then, after having successfully pocketed the cash for the goods, pretends he is seriously ill in this way and then gets carted off to hospital with his profits safely about his person. Do you remember it? The Lithuanians' favoured delicacies are known to be expensive choices, such as lobster with rice or maybe a juicy entrecote, and whilst he claims to speak no Spanish at all, it's clear to the police that he understands much of what is said around him. Now in Benidorm and arrested for theft this time, his last 2 arrests in mid-December in Alicante were also for stealing, on one of those occasions for trying to take a bottle of whiskey valued at just over €28, with White Label being well known as his preferred tipple. Back in September last year, a court in Alicante gave a verdict of provisional prison time for repeat offences after a quick trial. This time for not paying for a meal worth €34.85, and when, to avoid footing the bill, the man lay in the middle of the restaurant doorway pretending to have a heart attack. When, after spending 2 nights in the National Police cells, the judge asked Adis J if he admitted his relapse into criminal behaviour, the man, who has no known address, simply smiled smugly, whereby he was then sent to prison for several weeks. My final news item ends on a happier note, with my third story bringing good tidings on the tourism sector front, with Valencia and Benidorm confirmed as having exceeded 80% hotel occupancy in 2023, reaffirming the recovery of the hospitality industry in our region, the Comunidad de Valencia. The province has concluded 2023 with 81% occupancy, which represents an increase of almost 3 percentage points compared to 2019. This is reflected in data collected in the annual Hotel Occupancy Summary Report carried out by the Hosbeck Hotel Association, which also highlights that the volume of international tourists rose to 64.2%, with British and Dutch holidaymakers leading the way. Maite Garcia, General Secretary of Hosbeck, assessed the end of the year by saying, "2023 has ended giving the strength that the sector needs to face a new year with very good forecasts. The goal of 2023 was to recover to pre-pandemic levels, and these results show that it's been achieved." Our beloved resort of Benidorm, which has more than 41,000 beds available throughout the year, reached an average occupancy rate of 80.4% during 2023, not quite the full increase compared to 2019 as achieved by Valencia. However, this was in part due to the delay of the Inserso programme, which is a scheme that gives Spanish pensioners a hugely discounted holiday within Spain once a year, and has suffered from controversy and setbacks recently, and sees thousands of older Spanish citizens flood into the town for a bargain break. This happy story concludes today's news bulletin update, and I hope that you've enjoyed listening to it along with me. If you have, then please make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of my other regular vlogs, which include detailed and info-packed street and beachfront walks, reviews on Benidorm's most popular hotels with a fly-on-the-wall look inside and out, tours of cafes, bars and new businesses, as well as lots more updates, news and info. I'll see you out and about next time, and thanks so much for watching as always. Bye for now, adios, and catch you all again soon. Cheers!